Welcome to a special bonus episode of 10 with Ken. I'm Ken Steele. In September, we went on location to the 2017 Ontario University's Fair to speak with presidents and senior administrators about innovation in higher education. We're at the Carleton University exhibit speaking with Janice O'Farrell, the AVP of Enrolment Management. Thanks for taking a couple of minutes with us, Janice.
Thanks, Ken. Glad to be here.
My first question, Janice, is what innovations at Carleton make you justifiably proud and could serve as examples for other institutions?
Okay, so one of the things Carleton's known for is its caring and vibrant community. We have increasing student involvement in community outreach initiatives. We have something called Campus to Community Days. They're half days where students go out and serve local agencies in the Ottawa area. And we had 75 different days this year. So that's really exciting for us to bring the classroom to the community. As well, we have the Alternative Spring Break program, which is a program that brings together students, faculty, and staff during the reading week. And they go out internationally and work on initiatives, whether it be building a school in Central America, we're doing water conservation efforts out in Alberta. So that concept of bringing community into the classroom and the classroom to the community, I think we're starting to see a lot more of that happening. One of the other things we have at Carleton is our residence curriculum, and we're considered a Canadian leader. It's a program and programs designed to help students develop self-awareness skills, positive relationship skills, as well as positive community engagement. And lastly, some of our new programs we've been developing have been developed in conjunction with industry needs. So we're looking at the Bachelor of Media Production and Design is our newest one. That's combining the creative writing aspect with technical skills. So starting to build some of those things, as well as our health science program, which is targeting areas outside of the standard, I want to be a doctor, into the other areas of health science that are so important. And we have a number of programs that we're developing in that area as well.
One of the things that caught my eye a couple of years ago was a whole bevy of new collaborative programs with Algonquin, the BIT in Photonics and a number of other credentials. Do you have any thoughts you could share about that kind of collaboration?
The collaborative programs with Algonquin are really important to us, right? So that's building the technical skills that they're getting at Algonquin, that hands-on approach with some of the theoretical skills on campus. Carleton does the admission process, but they're admitted jointly to Algonquin College and Carleton simultaneously. And they take courses at both institutions during those 4 years. And then when they graduate with both a degree and an advanced diploma. That's certainly a model that has worked very well for us, and the students really like it. And we've been expanding those. So we have added another stream. Now we have information resource management, which is a combination, as well as the Photonics one, which are the two latest streams. But we're also expanding our partnerships, not just with Algonquin, but also with industry. So we have that partnership with Shopify. So our computer science program, where students are actually taking course material at the industry partner. So students, part of their coursework is being delivered at Shopify. They work there full-time during their entire degree, as well as doing some classroom stuff. So these kinds of partnerships are the way of the future. This is where things are going.
What's happening on that sort of retention and success side at Carleton that might be of interest to other institutions around North America?
We do have the Degree Audit, which is basically shows the student's path to graduation. Here's your program requirements, here's what you've done, here's what you haven't done. One of the things we've added this year is more of like a scorecard. So here's what you've done, here's whether you're on the path to progression, sort of a green light if everything is go, your GPA, your major, your coursework, a yellow light if there's something you need to be aware of. And then we're using that tool, which is more visual for the students, to reach out to them proactively from the advising for those that may need some assistance.
Question 2. As you look ahead 5 or 10 years at the future of colleges and universities in Canada, at higher education, what major innovations do you think we'll see?
Universities have been and will continue to be agents of change. I mean, I think that's a given. Part of that, I think, is a stronger emphasis towards preparing students not just for higher learning, but also for addressing societal challenges. So certainly preparing students more for dealing with things like mental health, poverty, homelessness, like all of those kinds of things. I see more opportunities for bringing the classroom into the real world. And I think that's certainly something that we're going to see, certainly there be more of. I also think we're going to see a change in the way programs are delivered. So more diverse program delivery methods, as well as possibly a change in the length of the program offerings. We're going to see that also changing. You're going to see more experiential learning. I think you're going to see more industry partnerships, similar to our partnership with Shopify. And I think you're going to see more of that sort of stacked credential, laddered credential kind of thing for program offerings, where students may take a 2-year credential of some sort, maybe have a gap, go to work, then come back and build onto that with another year or 2 years rather than restarting the whole process. Those are two things that I think we're going to see changing.
Do you have a sense of how articulation and mobility for students might change over the next decade?
I think we may see changes. So as I said, ONCAT came in and there was sort of a rush of putting together articulation agreements, a lot of which already existed, just not formally. So there was a more formal recognition of how students could transition from college to university. I think that that's going to continue to expand, and then the whole notion of students going from university to college really hasn't been explored as much. So I think that that's something we might see a bit more of from ONCAT. That's the other side of the coin. So a lot of their graduate certificates, for example, I think we'll see more and more partnerships with colleges, but I suspect a lot of it will be more joint programs. Certainly those are things where I think colleges and universities could really do well, play in the same sandbox nicely.
At the same time as I agree with you that universities are drivers of change in society, they're drivers of change in technology and science, and yet when it comes to the sort of traditions, the practices, the policies of universities date back hundreds of years in many ways, and the culture can be really resistant to changing the way we work. Do you have any thoughts or advice or examples of ways in which institutions can help to nurture that culture of innovation on a campus?
So, I think you are correct. We are agents of change for other people, not necessarily for ourselves. And it is certainly tough. I think leadership needs to take a really strong role here in terms of how that works. So certainly open and transparency in what's going on in a university is key to sort of starting that process. I think that the leaders of the institution have to be able to lead a compelling vision and getting community engagement into that vision. But it's more than just leading that vision. There has to be, and I agree with you there has to be an allowance to allow people to try new things, to be willing to take a risk, which is, something that is scary in most cases, but not just take a risk, but to encourage people to think outside the box, find new ways of doing things, but also be supportive with the resources to go with it. So there's a lot of things tied together to encourage that sort of sense of coming up with innovative solutions to things. So if you're risk averse, it's not really going to work very well. And if there aren't resources there, then you have challenges. One of the programs we do have at Carleton, which is kind of interesting, which is our Carleton Leader Program. And the Carleton Leader Program is a leadership program. There's 3 levels. Each cohort is half faculty, half admin, and they solve a problem. They're referred to as wicked problems, so problems that don't have an obvious solution. And over the course of 6 months, they'll meet regularly and sort of work on solving that problem. But it's the mix of the two sides of the campus, so to speak, that provides for people to start changing their outlook and maybe coming up with different ideas for things and seeing things from the other point of view. So I certainly think those kinds of programs are going to be really helpful into creating ideas. It's just a really super exciting time for universities. We are being asked to look at doing things differently and changing things, and rather than being scared of it, I think it's really opening up a lot of opportunities to do new things and really be creative and continue the really good work that we do.
Thanks for taking a couple of minutes out of a very busy day to speak with us, Janice.
It was a pleasure. I'm always happy to talk to you, Ken.
Thanks.
10 with Ken is a production of Eduvation, Inc., copyright 2017. I'm available for conference keynotes, campus PD events, board retreats, and committee workshops, in person or now virtually too. For more information, please visit www.eduvation.guru or 10withken.com.